Our life is God's gift to us, and what we make of it is our gift to God. Every young person has a plan for their life, but aligning that plan with the dream that God has for us is what we are called to do. I am Sr.Miselta A.C, belonging to the Apostolic Carmel congregation, and this is my story. Life's chapters, like the pages of a well-loved book, contain a mix of narratives, some filled with trials, others with the mundane details of daily existence, and a few precious ones that hold the stories of pure joy. Today I am going to open a particular chapter, the story of my vocation, a narrative that has been written not with ink, but with moments of grace and quiet revelation. This isn't a tale of grand adventure, but a gentle unfolding, a discovery of where my unique story fits into the larger narrative of the world. Each page turned reveals a new understanding and a deeper sense of purpose. I come from a very modest nuclear family in Goa. Growing up with my father, mother, and younger brother in this close-knit household. My parents always emphasized and lived a life of faith and inculcated the importance of serving the Lord and working for the church right from our early childhood. Their encouragement was not just in words, but also in their actions. Thus, from our earliest days of childhood, we remained very close to the church, first as altar servers, and then as youth members and catechists. Like any other Goan family, prayer was central to our family. And my mind goes back to all those rosaries and prayers, Eucharist and novenas that we have prayed, that accrues over time and gives you a benefit when you least realize. My journey with the Apostolic Carmel began from my early childhood. I was a student at St. Mary's, Mapsa, Goa, a prestigious institution run by the Sisters of the Apostolic Carmel. It wasn't just the academic rigor that impressed me, but it was the way they carried themselves. A quiet strength that emanated from their deep faith. Here the idea of religious life began to take root in my heart. It wasn't a sudden, dramatic call, but a slow, gradual awakening. I found myself drawn to their simplicity, their dedication, and their unwavering commitment to Christ. Actually, it was the joy that they radiated, even amidst their busy schedules, that was a powerful witness. And this solidified my desire to dedicate my life to a similar cause. Until now, my story seems nothing less than a fairy tale. But the death of my father, when I was in Standard 9, brought my perfect world crashing down. And then began the long dark night of doubt and confusion. Until that day, I never knew what it meant to be confused, to be insecure. But that day began a long struggle and doubt and wrestling with God. All my plans took a back seat, and the only thing that gave me peace was the busyness of life. I began to keep myself occupied with the hectic life of study and activity that the voice of God was no longer audible to me. I never wanted to think of that childhood fascination or dream again because it made no sense to me to walk away from a very promising life in the world. But one thing I am grateful for is that even in the midst of these dark, trying years of my life, God never allowed me to wander too far away from Him. And I remained in the shadow of the maternal care of the Mother Church through the various pastoral ministries that I was involved in as a young adult. Though I couldn't see the hand of God very much in my life during those years, yet now I believe that He was shaping my destiny. I went on to pursue my BSc in Electronics from St. Xavier's College, Mapsa. Fast forward through college life, there came a day when I was in the final year of my graduation that I was faced with a life-changing question during a homily at Mass. Where am I going from here? Nothing seemed clear to me anymore, and my so-called ideal and perfect life just seemed very meaningless. It was evident that the Hound of Heaven, God Himself, had not given up on me yet. Everywhere I turned, I could only see signs of His invitation. I am waiting for you. Come, follow me. But as stubborn as I was, indeed, I needed to be sure before taking such a life-changing step. I wanted answers, but all I got was silence, the great silence from God. And so I remember I decided to pray for an impossible sign. I needed direct revelation from God. And it was at this time that I attended my second youth retreat at Divine Retreat Center, Pota, along with my friends, with the clear intention to seek answers and to make a firm and final decision. I prayed for only one thing: speak to me, Lord. I needed an answer. And whether it was my stubbornness of faith, God's mercy, or a miracle, I do not understand up to this day. But the Lord did speak to me. These youth retreats have these mandatory counseling sessions. Honestly speaking, I was reluctant to go for one of these. But it was this very same experience that changed my life. This youth counselor gave me this message. She said, "You have been running away from God for so long. Now is the time to return to Him and answer His call." I did not say anything to her. I just sat there, dumbfounded, as she revealed things about my life which only God Himself could have revealed to her. This still remains as one of the most powerful God experiences of my life. It has changed my life, and this retreat gave me the answers I was seeking. And then there was no turning back. I had made my choice. And against all odds, against all opposition from family and friends, I completed my BSc and then joined the Sisters of the Apostolic Carmel. I had very little idea of what the future would hold. But deep within my heart, I had this conviction that the Lord would lead me in His ways I knew the path I was taking wouldn't be easy, but nevertheless I set out on this journey with the Lord. According to me, being a nun is to be an artist, not of canvas or clay, but of the soul. Each day is a blank page, a fresh opportunity to paint with acts of service, sculpt with moments of prayer, and illuminate with the light of compassion. The convent becomes the studio, a space where the divine inspires every stroke, every delicate detail. The vows are the palette, offering a spectrum of colors: obedience, poverty, and chastity, that when blended with love, create a masterpiece of devotion. The community, the mission, the society, everything becomes the living artwork of God. The journey of a young woman answering the call to religious life is a delicate unfolding, a blossoming of the soul. The stages of initial formation span across 4 years: candidature, postulancy, and the 2 years of novitiate. In the quiet of candidature, a hesitant whisper of yes begins, a fragile openness to a love that beckons us beyond the familiar. We learn to walk into the convent's rhythm, a stranger at first, yet drawn by an unseen hand, feeling the first stirrings of belonging. Postulancy deepens this intimacy, like planting roots in fertile soil. Here we learn the language of the heart, engaging in spiritual direction that, though sometimes painful, peels away layers of self-doubt, revealing the pure, unadulterated longing for God. We study not just words on a page, but the very heart of faith. Each lesson, a brushstroke painting a clearer picture of her calling. We offer small acts of service, each a gentle touch to a world in need, learning to see Christ in every face. The novitiate, the heart of our formation, is a crucible of transformation. Here the vows aren't just words, but a love song written on our soul. We wrestle with God, with Scripture, not as an academic exercise, but as a lover seeking the beloved. Living in the community, we learn the tenderness of sisterhood, the joy of shared laughter, the comfort of silent support, and the occasional sting of friction that polishes our rough edges. We discover our own strength in the shared life, learning to give and receive love in the sacred space of the convent. Through it all, we emerge, not perfect, but beautifully broken and remade, a living testament to the transformative power of divine love. And then comes the solemn first profession, a total giving of oneself as the bride of Christ. I joined the Sisters of the Apostolic Carmel in 2019, and after having completed 4 years in formation, I made my first profession on the 21st of January 2023. And ever since, I have felt the words of the Lord being fulfilled in my life in big and small ways. I will give you as a prophet to the nations. Life in the Apostolic Carmel, in the service of the Lord, has been a true blessing. I took up this journey in faith, not knowing what the future holds, but knowing very well who holds the future. And I can say with conviction, God has never let me down. 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled. And that has made all the difference. The greatest joy of my life is to have been able, against all odds, to align the dream that I had for my life with the dream that God had for me. Am I happy as a nun? Am I fulfilled? This is a very difficult question I get asked often. According to me, it is unanswerable in worldly standards, because each moment we strive to live Christ's prayer, "Thy will be done." And so, I define the answer to this by the joy I can bring to others, by the time I can share with others, and by how fulfilled someone who comes to me goes away feeling God's presence. Each day I am growing to realize that God doesn't need me, and that kind of humbles me. The Lord doesn't need me, and yet He pursues me daily. He doesn't need my help. He doesn't need anything I do for Him. And yet, He chooses to chase me. What else do I ever need in this world? This is how I measure my happiness. I am currently pursuing my MSc in Physics, a path God has chosen, that He has led me on, and I wait for the unfolding of His plans in my life. Today the church is struggling, wherever it may be. It is the truth, and we can evidently see it. Not many youngsters are coming, and those who are coming with a lot of brokenness and a lot of weight of the world on their shoulders. And truthfully, surrender is not always easy. We go through the years of formation, which is a time of great revival for us. And yes, God does amazing things in our life. In spite of all the brokenness and vulnerabilities, He still chooses us. We need not be perfect, but He cleanses us and makes us perfect. You may feel unworthy of such a calling. You may at times even feel you're too worldly, or maybe even sinful. But take heart. Jesus came for the least and the lost. If you think He is calling you, take the leap of faith and jump. That's all you need, a leap of faith. And the rest is God's story in the making.